Yeah, they just want us to be strong and silent. Like they just want you to take what you got to take, pay the bills, do what you got to do as a man, and that's it. Like they don't want to hear they don't want to hear your opinion.
But what is strong and silent? What is strong? What is being strong and silent? When you're suffering mentally. Yeah. As a man, we suffer mentally.
Yeah. Yeah. And mental health is just something that's recently been talked about. That hasn't even been like that really hasn't even been a part of the conversation, especially men's mental health. That hasn't been a part of the conversation like in the 90s, the 80s, 60s, 70s. Like that just recently in the early 2000s became like a topic of discussion.
Jake.
Yes, sir.
What's up with this dude, Derrick Jaxn?
Oh man, he's tripping. He's on some other shit.
Man, this dude's a trip, man. But you know, I saw this dude maybe 4, maybe 5 years ago, and I don't know how big he was at that time, but I know that he was. I saw a post where he was commenting on a guy cheating on his woman, and he was like telling the black woman like he. Oh man, don't get me started. But it was on some simp shit.
Yeah.
It was on some simp shit. And I was like, this dude is simping for the camera. I can't really pay attention to this guy.
Yeah.
How much you know about him?
Oh, I know a little bit. I actually didn't know much before the scandal. Yeah. After the scandal blew up, I saw him all over Snapchat, especially after you told me about him. I remember you said something about it, and I didn't really know who he was. Yeah. And then after you said something, I started seeing this guy everywhere.
Say, man, let me tell you, the one thing that I noticed when I first encountered one of his videos, he was like I said, he was in his car and he was talking this stuff about a dude, and every dude had a problem with him. Because he never really held any women accountable. All the women that he would, what he would, like anything that a dude did, he kept them accountable, but he didn't hold the women accountable. So as a man, you already knew right there he was full of shit.
Yeah.
So I didn't like him then. I didn't too much care for him. I was like, okay, whatever. He's saying some good things, you know, because I don't agree with the cheating. I'm not a cheater. That's never been me who I am. So, but I'm not a person who tells on someone that does cheat.
Yeah.
I'm not that guy. Now, if I choose to live a certain way, that's my choice. Just like that person's choice to live a certain way. That's not my place to tell women about that guy. Unless it's a girl that I'm trying to get with or something like that. But other than that, that's not my business. And this guy went out of his way to down talk men based off of what he was doing.
Yeah.
Because what came out, he's doing the same thing that he was down talking other men.
Yep. And all of a sudden the story has changed. He went from it being like kind of all the dude's fault to now in his situation, he's trying to make it seem like he's putting it more on his significant other.
Exactly. Now he's talking about it's God. God is the problem. God did this to me. He was wrong. I felt lost. Yeah. God wasn't there. My marriage going down. This is a bullshit. You are full of shit, and he's a hoe ass nigga. Period.
Straight up.
You know what I mean? So, but now with the Kevin Samuels, I've been watching him maybe for maybe a month now. And I like where he comes from because he's very truthful. And one thing that I do know, he didn't start off with anything like he talked about women or anything. He talked about men. It was a men's channel. And what it did, the way Kevin Samuels is, he's very, how can I say this? Like, he basically is, he's not pro-men, pro-masculine, but he's like one of those things of like, you have to present yourself a certain way.
Yeah.
You got a high value man, you got like, you know, women who deserve a high value man and people who don't. And he just keep it real with anybody. But when he started talking about women, it became a problem. Because women never been told the truth. See, we hear the truth all the time as men.
Yeah.
As men, we hear, oh, you're not shit, or you didn't do this. We hear it, period. Yeah. Whatever we doing wrong in our lives, we hear it. When it comes to women, that's taboo.
Yeah.
That's a taboo thing.
Yeah, you don't tell a woman she ain't shit.
You bet not.
Yeah.
You bet not tell her that she did something wrong because she's not trying to listen to it, or she's not even understanding where you're coming from as a man, and they feel like, well, you're a man, you just deal with it. Like we don't have feelings.
Yeah.
Men have feelings. We never had a platform to talk about it. Now that you have this manosphere, men have a platform to talk about the issues they have with women, and women hate it. They hate it, man.
Yeah.
They was in love with Derrick Jaxn. What?
Yeah, they just want us to be strong and silent. Like they just want you to take what you got to take, pay the bills, do what you got to do as a man, and that's it. Like they don't want to hear your opinion.
But what is strong and silent? What is strong? What is being strong and silent? When you're suffering mentally. Yeah. As a man, we suffer mentally.
Yeah. Yeah. And mental health is just something that's recently been talked about. That hasn't even been that really hasn't even been a part of the conversation, especially men's mental health. That hasn't been a part of the conversation like in the 90s, the 80s, 60s, 70s. Like that just recently in the early 2000s became like a topic of discussion.
Because you know why? Because men have nothing to complain about. We know the world ain't fair.
Yeah.
We know it's not fair.
We don't expect it to be.
We don't expect it to be.
Yeah.
So we understand that, okay, if I'm fat, I'm short, I look like shit, I need to fix myself if I want a woman to talk to us. Mm-hmm. But if women, they feel like if I make enough money or if I do this, oh, this man's going to be with me and he needs to love me regardless. I don't have to give up sex. I don't have to cook. I don't have to clean. I just could be who I am and a pretty chick, and I'm supposed to live. You got me fucked up. I don't give a fuck how pretty you are. Yeah. That don't mean shit. Yeah. That pretty don't mean shit. Yeah. Period. It means nothing. That I know that more high value men, you know, they put that first as far as your look, but that's because he needs that trophy.
Yeah.
Me personally, I'm okay with an average looking chick. If you average, you come home, you clean, you cook, everything like that, I'm fine. Because I don't need this special woman to make me feel like a man. Mm-hmm. I just need someone who's gonna understand where I come from, how I do things, and let's move forward and do it together.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck about all that. But the reason why I like Kevin Samuels, on both sides of the coin, he keeps it real.
Yeah.
It doesn't
more
matter.
of a realistic view.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not about tearing anybody down. It's about being realistic. He did an interview with this chick, and she they call her average at best.
At best.
At best. But you know what? She told him in the interview that she was average. She said that I'm like a 6. Well, I think it was like I think it was like a 5 or a 6. Mm-hmm. And once he made the comment that she's average at best, everybody went into an uproar. Like, oh, he's talking down to this woman. He's making her feel like this. And it wasn't like that.
Yeah.
She called him on a day that it was about, comments that people had to Kevin Samuels. They was going back and forth about his topics and stuff like that, or what he says to people. She wanted to come on and get a consultation about herself and how can she get a high value man.
Okay.
So he took the time out of his regular programming to deal with this woman. Mm. And she was difficult. She was kind of combative. She wasn't listening. And then gets mad when he has a comment about that. That's a problem.
And she's the one that contacted him.
She called him.
Okay.
But when he made those comments, the internet went up in flames as like he was so wrong because he was so direct.
Yeah.
But as a man, we hear that shit all the time.
Yeah.
Because he has interviews with men calling them fat. You can't have two struggles. Like the dude was like, really wasn't making a lot of money, and then he was fat and ugly and this, and he was actually telling this guy that shit.
Yeah.
But that man took that information and used it to better himself.
Okay. So he took notes rather than taking it personal.
Exactly. Because what Kevin Samuels don't know these people.
No.
He just going by
What he sees.
What he sees.
Face value.
Face value.
Yep.
So basically, he's giving you his opinion of what he sees to try to help you move forward so you can get what you want.
Which is his job.
That's what you pay him for.
Okay. It's reasonable.
Now, what Derrick Jaxn was, he was a guy who pandered to women. Anything a man did that was wrong towards a woman, he would make a comment about, and he would down the man as if the woman has no fault in this situation.
Yeah, he put the pussy on a pedestal.
Put the pussy on a pedestal.
Yeah. Pretty much.
And in doing that, he created this image of himself as he being the perfect man. And now they tearing it down.
Yeah, now it's coming out that he's not the perfect man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there's no perfect person in the game at all. You know, one of the things that I understand being out here, you could be a good guy, you could be a nice guy, but there's things that you may not do as a man or a woman that dictate you being that guy that you think you are. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? As far as like, just because you feel like you're a good guy doesn't mean you're a good guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Doesn't
because
mean everybody
definitions
sees you
of
like
good guy is in the eye of the beholder. It's the person who want to say you're a good person. But that's nothing that you go out and tell people, yeah, I'm a good man. Okay.
Yeah.
To you.
Yeah.
But to the person you're dealing with, are you a good man?
Yeah.
You know. So that's what I learned. You know, watching these shows and, you know, seeing how people interact with each other, it really gave me a different perspective of how this life is.
Yeah.
And I guess because I'm older too.
Yeah. So with this Derrick Jaxn stuff, what exactly happened between him and his wife? Like, what were all the details
He
with
was
it?
cheating.
Well, I know he was cheating, but does it say like exactly what the situation was?
Well, what had happened, a woman came out and said that he was cheating with her. Mm-hmm. Right? And he tried to come back and have an interview not an interview, but a public apology about what happened. He started blaming God.
Yeah, which is the wrong thing to do.
Yeah, that was the first thing he did was blame God.
Yeah.
God did this, and he blamed God. After he blamed God, he said that, okay, another woman came out. Right? Another woman came out. Mm-hmm. And because in the initial talk, he said he never had sex with this woman. Mm-hmm. It was just that he was fucking, his marriage going down. He said, fuck God.
But he also said that he was in a sexual relationship without having sex.
Which is stupid.
Yeah, so
I don't know how you can do that.
You know he's full of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So then he comes back after that happened because this lady named Tasha K, she has a show on YouTube called Unwind. I watch that shit too. Because I like watching a little bit of everything because I want to understand things. Mm-hmm. I want to understand where women are coming from. I want to understand where men are coming from. And before we started this podcast, I wanted to make sure that if we talk on different topics, I want to be able to be open to understand from a man's and a woman's point of view. Even though I may not understand everything from a woman's point of view, but I can get more of an understanding of it if I watch those channels and why they talk about the things that they talk about. Mm-hmm. So basically what happened was when I watched that and I saw that this guy had this first mistress, then he had another one that said she was having sex and stuff like that with him. And then that's when he came back and had an interview with his wife. And he was holding her hand and he was like talking about, I knocked down these women and this and that, but it was during our marriage earlier. This didn't happen. Like he was trying to make it seem like it was something that happened years ago. Mm-hmm. His wife defended him. And then right after that, Tasha K came back out again.
Oh man.
With another mistress.
Yeah.
And this one was like a doctor. And
so they just basically just sold him out. They just started saying,
well, you know how it is. People hear that this is going on and that going on.
Yeah. And then
if
there's
everybody
multiple
want to come out with something.
Yeah, and then there's multiple people involved. All they gotta hear is one person say, well, me and him did some stuff, and then everybody that he did shit with, everybody he had an affair with, is gonna come out and they're gonna want that same attention.
Exactly, man.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so that's actually what happened.
Yeah.
The first woman came, then the second woman, and now this third one, she's saying that she's also pregnant. She was pregnant with his child.
Yeah.
And in his last video that he did, where he kind of talked in third person,
Yeah.
to explain what that kind of went on in that situation, she was in front of that woman's house.
Yeah.
He was in front of that woman's house when he did that video.
Yeah.
So this dude doesn't care. He's just trying to save face. And it's amazing that you would think that black women would get it because they listen to Steve Harvey punk ass. You know, I think he's a bitch too.
I mean, he got caught cheating too.
Yes, 3 times.
He got his show shut down because his wife was the producer.
His wife was a producer.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so they listen to these guys. I remember when this book came out, when Steve Harvey had that book come out, Think Like a Man.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? All that bullshit.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this dude is a cheater. Why do y'all listen to this dude?
Yeah.
I could tell you the same information, but you don't want to listen to me. You feel like I'm stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know. Like this guy don't know.
Mm-hmm.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I've been around the block a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's crazy, man. I don't know what to say about it, but I do know that as men, we have to start having some integrity about ourselves. We have to do a better job of thinking about what's the consequences of the actions that we do. Too many times we just act off of impulses. We may be drinking, we may be high or whatever, or we mad. We'll just go out here and just act off of impulse.
Yeah.
And that's not how we're supposed to move as men. We're logical. We're logical people. And so we have to move in a better way. We have to do a better job of that. And I think that this now, what just happened with the whole Derrick Jaxn situation and that Kevin Samuels is a part of the situation of what he does, I think that as men, we have to start being accountable for the things we do.
Yeah.
That's my take on it.
Yeah, no, I'd agree 100%. We do. We got to take more responsibility.
As a whole.
Yeah.
As a whole. And I'm not saying that I'm going to tell on my friend who's doing the wrong things because that's not my place.
Yeah.
But I will say that as a whole, we have to do better as a community, just as men, period, on how we see things or how we do things.
Yeah.
Let's be men.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's be men and not hound dogs.
Yeah.
You know?
Let's do a little more thinking before we act.
Exactly,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. The blame is not all on women, but at the same time, women do shit that may not be considered being a woman.
And we don't hold them accountable.
We don't hold them accountable. Now we
we-
gotta hold the women accountable too.
Yeah, we do.
But we gotta do a better job of, you know, being men.
Yeah. I agree with that.
That's my thing.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
Yep. It's time to start thinking like men.
Let's think like men.
Yep. Start acting like you.
Exactly. So that's our show today. And if you like the show, like and share the show and comment in the comment section. If you feel like it's something that you want us to talk about, leave it in the comment section. And also, please subscribe. Tell your friends to subscribe. And, hey, we're going to keep giving you this content. You know how it go. I've been drinking a little bit. Don't worry about it.
That tang.
So, that tang hitting me. But, hey, I will say this. You know who I am. I'm Kel.
And I'm Jake.
And you have been kicking it with Kel and Jake. Holla back. We'll see you next time.